folks, welcome back to My Kitten Reads. I'm Eleanor and this is a combined September book haul and book wrap-up, reading wrap-up for September, because it was a pretty quiet month on both the reading and acquisitions side. So the only thing I acquired that wasn't a subscription box book was this. So it's Ms. Marvel, Mecca. It's volume 8 and it's by G. Willow Wilson and Marco Falia, Diego Olotegui and Ian Herring. So yeah, so this is the next one on my list for Ms. Marvel. Looking forward to it, always look forward to it, always love Ms. Marvel. So I only read 4 books in September, unfortunately, and yes, I actually did fall behind on my Goodreads reading challenge, so I will hopefully pick that up again this month. Believe me, I have plans. So the first thing that I finished in September was The Ancient Olympics by Nigel Spivey. This is the second one of my textbooks for the first half of this semester. So it's a basic look at the Ancient Olympics. So basically everything up, I think up to the end of the, if I remember correctly, the end of the Hellenistic age. Yeah, so before the Romans, like this is pretty much before the Romans turned up, but it's a look at the Olympics, at what they meant, at what they contained, at what happened, like eventful context as well. So yeah, so I read that. Then I reread one of my Jane Austen variations. This particular one is called The Angel Longbourn. It's a Jann Rowland. It's one I hadn't read in a while. I'd kind of forgotten what it was about. So it's basically one where Darcy is coming to visit Bingley for the first time at Netherfield. It's raining, it's storming, he's on his horse and he falls off, and because he has a fever and an illness. And the next morning, Elizabeth finds him, and so he gets nursed, but his first meeting with the Bennets is actually being nursed back to health in their house. So things go very, very differently. So yeah, it was a really fun reread. So that's The Angel of Longbourn by Jann Rowland. Then I finally finished Robots vs. Fairies, edited by Dominik, Parisien and Navah Wolfe. I've said it before, I'm completely Team Fairy. Towards the end, there was 1 or 2 robot stories I actually liked. Scalzi's was really, really funny. But yeah, I am definitely Team Fairy. My favourite story is pretty much still, what do you call it? The librarian one. So about the fairy library and using books to defeat the enemy. So that's still pretty much my favourite one. The last story is actually a Cat Valenti one, and it's literally a rumble in the jumble fairies versus robots fight with commentators. Yeah, but it ends totally on Team Fairy. Shh, spoilers. But yes, so I finished this. It's another really great quality anthology from Saga Press and from these 2 editors. So I really recommend Robots vs. Fairies. And then I finished out the month with, I devoured this. This is Catching Tella Crow by Ambelin, Kwaymullina and Ezekiel Kwaymullina. It's YA, it's short, it's sort of a mystery / ghost story. I wouldn't call it fantasy because the fantastical elements are actually, because the writers are Indigenous Australians, they're Aboriginal Australians, and the main character is also an Aboriginal Australian. And the fantastical element comes from the different perspective some parts of Aboriginal Australia have on the barrier between life and death and how malleable that barrier is. But it's also a detective story. So Beth is dead, her father is grieving, and he is the only person that can see her. So she's trying to get him to reconnect with the world and get him out of his grief. He's a detective and he's been sent to this little town to oversee an investigation because there was a fire in a children's home and there was a body. And there's a witness called Isabel Catching who they have to try and get the story out of. There's some really interesting ways of writing, because most of Isabel's story is, as you can see, I hope, it's written in sort of a prose poetry kind of way. So that's really interesting because it actually you feel like that Isabel's talking to you directly. There's a real gut punch, like an emotional gut punch in the middle of the book. I would probably warn people who have triggers regarding violence against women. There's nothing explicit, but it is, there's metaphor. And when you realise what's going on, you just go, oh, hell no. What the story that is being told. But yeah, so yes, but it's really, really gripping. It's really, really entertaining. They're great characters. It's a great story. And it comes from that Aboriginal Australia perspective that we don't see often enough in fiction. So I really, really, really recommend Catching Telacrow by Ambelin Kwaymullina and Ezekiel Kwaymullina. So that was what I acquired and read in the month of September. Not much, I know. So at least on the reading side of things, I'm hoping to do better this month. It is Dewey's Readathon month, so that's all automatically going to make me better because I'm going to spend 24 hours just reading. So yeah, that is September. I hope I see you all really soon. Let me know if you've read any of these or if you're interested in any of these. Yeah, and I'll see you later. Bye.